a character all the way down the side so that it will scroll all the way up to the top. So I can keep scrolling it while I'm talking to you. I don't have to move my eyes up and down.
Got it.
Or you can just buy a, teleprompter, which is about $100.
We have teleprompters in the actual video studio.
Plus an iPad, yeah. That's all. No big deal. Got all that goodies.
All right. Just remember, after you're done with the intro, then go make me the host so then I can switch over to my slide deck.
Okay, so I need to go to participants. All right, I'll have it ready to go when I get done. And if I don't say it, say, all right, great.
Yes.
Just give me a second and are you giving the whole presentation?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, no, the only reason I ask is I didn't know if you were the one who did it. Breaking this up a little. Okay. Breaking this up into individual sentences. Okay. All right. Good to go.
Awesome.
How's the wife and kids? Everybody good?
They are good. And my daughter just was on CBS for her children's book. So we're super stoked for her.
How old is your daughter?
She is 9.
She wrote a children's book at 9. That's awesome.
She did. She wrote a board book.
Nice. Her father didn't have anything to do with that, did he?
Might have a little bit.
I don't believe that. Not for a second.
She wrote it. I got it illustrated and published.
Yeah.
And then got her on the news for it.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I'm the host, so do I need to turn it on, I guess?
I'm already recording, so we are good to go in 2 minutes when it is 3:45.
All right. And then we're doing all the recordings. I sent out a what the hell have you been asking me for kind of email. I just said, have you been paying attention? Basically, I said, you idiots have been. What I said was, I didn't say you. I said virtually every financial advisor I've talked to for the last, hundreds that I've talked to, every single one of them wanted to create, working relationships with CPAs. And now you have a chance to learn how to do that. So here you go.
Awesome.
All right. And we'll take it from there. That's going to mess with my head. There we go. I'll probably mute my microphone after I do the introduction too, because we're having a thunderstorm down here. So
got it.
I need to share that with everybody who attends and gets the recording.
All right, let's get to it.
Hey everybody, it's Don, and I'm here with my good friend Seth Green, who I'd like to introduce. Seth is the co-host and producer of Shark Tank's Kevin Harrington's Sharkpreneur podcast. And what you might not know is Seth is the founder of Market Domination LLC, and we've worked for him for years. It's one of the fastest growing privately held marketing firms in the country. He's really got something going on there. Seth started out as a financial advisor like me, like most of you, and his marketing firm helps advisors get and attract new clients like magic. He's the author of 7 best-selling books, including his newest book, Market Domination for Podcasting, which is on the shelves of Barnes & Noble now. He's the only person in history that the legendary marketing guru Dan Kennedy, and a lot of you even have heard that name, has nominated for his prestigious Marketer of the Year award 3 years in a row. Dan Kennedy, by the way, is the guru to the gurus. He's the one who teaches all of us. He's the 70-something-year-old guy who's been doing it since since Jesus was in short pants. Seth has been featured as a social media marketing on CBS Money Watch, CBS News, the LA Times, the Boston Globe, the Miami Herald. Inc. magazine, and the #1 morning radio show in New York City. Seth gets around. Along the way, he married his soulmate, Rebecca, and together they have 3 amazing kids, one of which I just found out at 9 years old wrote a child's book and got it published and has been on CBS for doing that. So it seems to run in the family thick as thieves. And today, Seth is here to share with us how you can finally get referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. So, Seth, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing this with my guys. Guys, Seth, guys. Let me hand this over to you, Seth, so you can share your wisdom.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me here, Don, and everybody, thanks for attending. Super excited to share with you what we're going to talk about today. Don, can everybody see my screen?
I can see you. If you guys want to type in a 1, if you can see his screen, that'd be great. In the chat.
Yep. Type in A if you can hear us. Tell us if you can hear us and if you can see my slide deck.
All right. I'm seeing you, not your slide deck, so you're not sharing your screen yet, I don't think.
I'm sharing my screen on my computer.
Okay. You are? My apologies. You are, sir. I have it here.
All right. So I'm good. All right. Awesome. All right. So let's talk about how to finally get the referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. This is a client of ours, David Braun. David said, sorry for the delay. I'm so busy. The book has already been a huge success. I expected the response to be positive, but the response has been very positive. Your process wasn't what I expected. It took longer than I thought. However, you got me in front of CPAs and attorneys I otherwise never could have met. I've already gotten referrals and business from them, and my book isn't even out yet. I am very happy with my results so far. I'm going to tell you what that magic book is in just a minute. This is David's book, Navigating Life Transitions, Making the Right Decisions to Secure Your Financial Future. This is another client of ours, Lori Ellis McLeod, up in Madison, Wisconsin, who is a financial advisor for business owners. So this book is Make Smart Choices with Your Madison Business. You'll see here from our screenshot, she hit #4 on Amazon for finance, #20 for entrepreneurship. This is a picture of some of the people at her book launch party. This is a picture of her swag table. She had quite a few because she had so many people at her party. This is a guy in my own local backyard, Carmine Party, how Western New Yorkers can navigate financial challenges of life transitions. You can see here he got to #5 on Amazon for retirement planning and #6 for finance, no small feat in Western New York, which isn't that big a market. This is a picture of just some of the people at his book launch party. We've got another client who did a book launch earlier this month, #1 for budgeting, #3 for money management. That's Cal in San Diego. This is John Smith in Maryland, who's #1 for elder care. So it transcends markets, it transcends cities, and all of those were propelled by CPAs and attorneys. And I'll tell you how you can do that in just a second. My quick question just is, if we deliver at the end, assuming you appreciate the content that we have to share, I will show you how you can get this all done for you in case you don't want to do the work yourself. So how you can finally get the referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. Just a real quick question in the chat box. Are you a financial advisor, an insurance agent, an RIA, or some type of hybrid of all of the above? If you could, folks, would be so kind as to chat in the chat box which one you are, so I make sure to tailor this for the right crowd. So in the chat box, are you a financial advisor, insurance agent, hybrid, or RIA, or some type of combo? All right, I see people saying hybrid. I see people saying both. Financial advisor, combo. Okay, lots of combos. Awesome. All right, so if you are a combo of some type, shape, or form, and you've got 30 minutes a week, and you're a little bit coachable, then this will work for you. It's also, if you're frustrated, if you're fed up with being one of the best kept secrets in your marketplace, if you're looking for a way to get your foot in the door with those CPAs and attorneys and actually have them send you referrals, as opposed to them thinking you're supposed to act like this when you go visit with them. You know, CPAs and attorneys typically don't refer to financial advisors. I hear that every single day. Oh, it won't work. Attorneys don't refer. Oh, CPAs don't refer. I tried CLE credits. I tried buying lunch. I tried networking. I tried sponsoring stuff. I tried a joint seminar. And I'm going to tell you, you're right. Most of those don't work, but we cracked the code to something that does, that is completely different than any of those. And we're going to talk about it, teach you how to do it in just a second. I'm going to ask if you'll be so kind as to turn off Facebook close any other browser windows you've got open other than this one, because obviously the better attention you pay, the more you'll learn, the more you write down when you take notes, the more you'll remember, and the more likely you are to actually make this work for you. So I started out, as Don mentioned, as a financial advisor, just like you. I sold financial services. I sold insurance. I was also an RIA. I started back at AG Edwards, back when they still existed, before they got bought out by Wachovia and Wells Fargo. And when I got back from training after passing my Series 7 and my 66 and my insurance licenses, my branch manager said, I got a book where all of your clients are going to come from your entire career. I said, man, I'm 22. I'm young. I'm dumb. I'm going to get a Ferrari. This is awesome. I'm going to be rich. Give me the book. And he handed me the yellow pages and said, they're all in there, Tiger. Go get them. And I didn't know any better. So I made 300 cold calls a day, every day, interrupting strangers, asking them for money. If any of you have cold called, you know how much that sucks. I had the good fortune to meet legendary marketing guru Dan Kennedy, again, the 77-year-old guy in the short pants who teaches the rest of us what to do. I met Dan. I had the guts, not the brain power, but the guts to borrow the money to write him a very large check to teach me how to grow my practice in a completely different way. Because when I started at AG Edwards, there were 6,700 reps. I was number 6,699. I was one up from the bottom because I was making 300 cold calls a day and I was brand new. Well, in 2 short years of working with Dan, I was in the top 30 nationwide for opening new accounts. So what he taught me worked really, really well. It also got me written about in Insurance Newsnet. It got me written about in Registered Rep magazine. It got me written about in 3 best-selling books by Mary Beth Kuzmeski about financial advisor marketing. And along the way, I've got to update this. I apologize. I've written 7 best-selling books, including Market Domination for Podcasting, which is on the shelves now at Barnes & Noble, and my first book, which was Financial Advisor Marketing Magic. I've been on the alphabet soup of media, as Don mentioned, Fox Business, US News, Barron's, MSNBC, you name it. And when I got all that press, my phone started to ring with other financial advisors and insurance agents who said, I want to do what you do. I want to do what you did. I want to grow my practice the way you did. How do I do that? And I said, Dan, what do I do? And he said, you start a marketing company and you do it for him. And that company is marketdominationllc.com. I started back in 2007. It was me and one financial advisor that I was willing to let test out my stuff. The stuff I had created for myself, I was going to let one guy see if it would work in his market with his personality as opposed to being me. Well, it worked and it took off. And we've now got 29 people working for us. And we've got offices in 3 cities. And we have served thousands of advisors literally all over the planet. This is my awesome wife, Rebecca, and our 3 kids. That is Max, who is Max, who's our son, and Ella and Lily, who are the little girls. This is a slightly more recent picture. One question I get before I tell you how to get the referrals from CPAs and attorneys, the first question I always get from any advisor is this compliance friendly? Will my compliance department approve it? The answer is absolutely yes. We are doing 5 to 10 of these a month. We've been doing it for years, and we've literally never had a single compliance department turn it down. And I'll explain more about why that works later. Now, the reason why you haven't been successful getting the referrals from CPAs and attorneys that you deserve right now is because when you go ask a CPA or attorney for referrals, they see you as literally the same as every other financial advisor or insurance agent. They can't tell the difference. You say you give great customer service, so does every other advisor. Somebody's got to be lying, right? They don't know you work at one firm, one of their other advisors works at a different firm. They can't tell the difference. So that's one of the reasons why it doesn't work. The other reason is because you're making it all about you. You want to tell the CPA and attorney how fabulous you are, what a great job you're going to do for their clients, why they should send you business. They don't care. I hate to break it to you, but everybody's favorite radio station is WIFM. What's in it for me? The CPA and attorney doesn't care about you. They care about themselves. And they're paranoid about risking their client relationships by giving you referrals. And they're paranoid about offending other financial advisors who might send them referrals if that advisor were to find out that they sent you a referral. So if we flip the script and make them the hero and make them special and make them feel like super important, everything changes. So quick question before I jump right in. How many referrals from CPAs and attorneys did you get last month? You probably know that number off the top of your head. Type it in the chat box. 0 is okay. Some of you are going to say I got 0. Some of you might say 1 or 2. Just type in real quick how many referrals you got from CPAs and attorneys last month. 0, 0, 0. Yep, I see a whole bunch. I see 1. Awesome job, John. You got 1. John has the record right now with 1. Everybody else has 0. All right, so we are going to absolutely dramatically increase that number with what I'm about to share with you. So here we go. If you've got a piece of paper and a pen, you want to start taking notes now. How to finally get the referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. Step number 1, and there are 10 steps to doing this, but don't worry. Those 10 steps don't take that. A lot of them don't take much time. So the first thing you've got to do, Dan Kennedy will tell you, 50% of the success or failure of any marketing campaign is who is your target market. So you have to decide what CPAs and what attorneys you want referrals from. So the first thing you're going to do is write it down, like literally their names, you know, John Smith, Bob Friedman, whatever their names are. You need to identify the CPAs and attorneys you want referrals from. And ideally, your list should be 10 to 20. They're not all going to do it. But so I would do 20 and figure you're probably going to end with about 10 that actually actively do this. So first step is build your list. The second step is you're going to market to them to get them to be interviewed by you. You're not asking for referrals. You're asking them to be interviewed for the book that you're writing about whatever. So whatever your topic is. So it could be just general life transitions, in which case that would be any CPA, estate attorney, divorce attorney could help you with that. It could be one solely on estate planning. We've got an advisor who did one just on estate planning and just interviewed estate planning attorneys and nursing homes. This is Charlie Wood. Charlie did Getting the Help You Need at a Difficult Time, conversations with Texas Medicaid planning experts. So he went and he interviewed Medicaid attorneys and directors of nursing homes. And now they all have his book in their lobby. Anytime a new person comes in to inquire about coming to that nursing home with their brochure in their folder, they give him a copy of Charlie's book, and he's doing seminars at that event. What do you think that does for his business? So again, you're not asking for referrals. You're giving them an ego stroke and saying, I'm writing a book about blank, making smart choices with your money. I'm writing a book about divorce. I'm writing a book about whatever it is, and I'd like to interview you for your expertise for the book. Magically, they say yes. Not every single one, but a really high percentage will say, oh man, I thank you so much for recognizing me as an expert, making me feel important. I would love to be in your book. Step 3 is conduct the interview and record it. Now, how are you going to record an interview? Well, depending on your level of tech expertise, you could buy one of these voice memo recorders at Office Depot or Staples for 20 bucks. Or you could use the voice memo app that came for free with your iPhone or Android and record it on your phone. Again, we're not trying to create an audio masterpiece. We're just trying to get good enough sound quality that we can hear what is being said. So you're going to record that interview, and then you're going to have it transcribed. Transcription is when someone types every word that is said in the interview. And then when you get that transcription back, it's got to be edited, because the way people talk isn't the way people read. So you've got to get rid of the ums and the uhs and the you knows and the run-on sentences and make it look like a real book. So we've got make our list of who the CPAs and attorneys are. We've got ask them to be interviewed for the book. We've got record the interview, and then we've got to transcribe it and edit it so it turns each interview as another chapter in your book. And on average, it takes about 10 to make a book, depending on how long you want your book to be. These are bookstore books, like real book. It's not an ebook. It's not a PDF. It is a physical book. A physical book has much more perceived weight and perceived value than a PDF they can download on their website. Number 5 is you need graphic design. You need a graphic designer to do the layout of the interior of your book so it looks good. And then obviously it's a book, so it needs a front cover, it needs a spine, and it needs a back cover. So again, the whole goal is to create a physical book no different than the exact kind like mine that's on the shelves at Barnes & Noble right now. Front cover, back cover, spine, layout. We talked about that. It's got to be laid out so it looks like a book as opposed to just 100% of an interview. And then it's got to get published. It's got to, the good news is you can publish through Create Space on Amazon if you are self-published, and it costs you nothing. Once the layout is done, it gets uploaded to Amazon and you have a book. And literally, anytime somebody orders it on Amazon, Amazon will physically print it, ship it, and mail it to them. Now, we own a publishing company because we are publishing 5 to 10 books for our advisor clients every single month. So instead of having to publish it yourself, when we get to the part of the talk where I will tell you how to get it done for you, you can be published by us. So you have a real publishing company's published your book, which gives you even more street cred with your CPAs and advisor. We even will send you $1 in advance so you can say, I got an advance on the publication of my book. Then after your book is published, you're going to do a book launch party. I showed you some slides of those because it's a really great marketing strategy. Because if you have all of your, let's say 10 CPAs and attorneys come to a party to celebrate the launch of their book and sign copies of it, what are they going to do? Are they going to say, no, I don't want to come to this party? No, they're going to bring people with them because they're going to want their clients and prospects to see how amazing they are and say, man, they've never been to a book launch party before. So they've never been an author before. So they're going to invite everybody they know to come to the party and get a signed copy of their book where, of course, they meet you. They get their picture taken with you. They get a book signed by you. And then what do you think happens next? They go home with your book, or they've bought your book online, or their CPA or attorney has given them a copy because they're in it, and it's all about the CPA. It's not about you. They're not saying, check out this fabulous financial advisor you should use. They're saying, this is why it works. They're saying, look at, here's a book I was in. Look at me, aren't I fabulous? They don't even think that they're actually promoting you and taking you along for the ride. They think they're promoting themselves. That's why it works, because it's all about them. It's an ego stroke for them. And some of those clients are going to say, oh, I should get a second opinion on my financial advisor or my insurance. I should call the guy in the book that my CPA just gave me. They don't think, the CPA doesn't think they're giving you a referral. They're talking about themselves. But what the client sees is, my CPA gave me this book. This guy must be good. This gal must be good. I should go talk to them. After we do the book launch party, we do a book launch on Amazon. Oh, I see we got a question. Yes, you can interrupt and ask questions if you want. Mark, how do I, what is your question? You want to type your question in the chat box, or do you want to ask it live? Why don't you type it and I'll keep going and I'll ask it as we go. All right, so then we do an Amazon book launch, and I showed you some examples of where we got people to bestseller status on Amazon, which of course gets your CPAs and attorneys all excited because they're now in a best-selling book. So they're going to go promote it and give out even more copies. And then if you really want to put this on steroids, you do a monthly networking group, kind of like a BNI meeting, but instead you're the host and all the CPAs and attorneys are your guests, and they come every month, meet for lunch or whenever you're going to do it, and they network and talk about cases and refer business back and forth, but you're the only financial advisor in the book because it's your book. So where are all those cases going to come? They're going to come to you. We have a call in. All right, Mark, I'm going to allow you to talk. Okay, you can go ahead and ask your question.
He's muted.
He's muted. Unmute. All right, Mark. Now can you got to unmute yourself. I unmuted him. He's going to unmute himself. It's the beauty of live television. Okay, Mark, go for it. What's your question?
Sorry, I don't have a question. I'm trying to get this on my phone. I'm driving in the car, so I apologize. I must hit the wrong button.
Okay, you hit the wrong button. All right, I will disable Mark. Okay, Mark, hopefully if you're on your phone, you call in and you can hear it. If you can't see it on the Zoom app, if you can't see my screen, we are recording this and we will send out a copy to everybody. All right, so then those are the 10 steps. So just to summarize, You're going to interview your ideal referral sources. You're going to turn those interviews into a book. You're going to publish and market the book. And then you're going to stay in front of them on a regular basis so that every month they keep buying more copies of your book, not because we're trying to make any money selling books. I honestly don't care about making money selling books. I want those books out in front of as many potential clients for you as possible. So I want those CPAs and attorneys to keep handing out copies so that you keep getting more business. Does that make sense? All right. So those are the 10 steps into how to get CPAs and attorneys to finally send you the referrals you deserve. I will share with you how you can get this done for you. I know we went pretty quick. And then you can type in the chat box any questions you've got. Okay, so how you can get it done for you. Well, let me ask you first, is it worth it? So obviously those 10 steps take time. They take expertise. They take work. You can do them yourselves and try and coordinate and find somebody to transcribe and edit your interviews. You can try and reach out to those CPAs and attorneys yourself. You can try and hire a graphic designer to do the book, and then plan a party, do a book launch, and try and do all of that yourself. But would it be worth it to have that all done for you and not have to do any of the work except the interviews itself? I'm biased, obviously. This is me with my 3 kids. This is us fishing at Jellystone National Park. This is Max going to a travel soccer game. I've been coaching every single season for the last 8 years now. And he's an amazing goalkeeper and is doing awesome things on the soccer field, partly because I'm able to be at every single coach every single practice and be every single game. And this is my daughter, Ella, who's an actress. She starred as Annie in Annie. She was Marty in Madagascar. She was the Candyman in Willy Wonka a couple of weeks ago. And I'm, again, able to make it to every rehearsal, all because I don't have to worry about where my next prospect is coming from, because I've got an army of people, professionals, handing out my books to other people who are my ideal clients. Does that make sense? So again, this is David Braun's book, Navigating Life Transitions. That's Lori. I mean, cool. What would it be like if you're actually a published author? I mean, literally at the book signing, at the book launch party, people will ask you for your autograph. It's the coolest thing ever. I actually did a book signing for my book recently at Barnes & Noble, which was even cooler, having strangers who I didn't even know come up and ask me to sign copies of my book. Again, that's one of Lori's swag tables. The regular investment to have us do everything for you is $2,000 a month. But don't worry, you're not going to pay that, because Don twisted my arm and said, if we're going to offer this to my guys, you've got to come up with one heck of a deal, which I'll tell you about in just a second. But let me ask, would it be worth it for $2,000 a month to have all of this done for you and end up with a published book that was on Amazon, that was physically available, that you had 10 CPAs and attorneys handing out copies every month to their clients? Would that be worth $2,000 a month? I got to believe the answer is yes, because it's what we normally charge and people buy it every single day. What Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, says, if you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. So obviously you've got to change something in order to change the business. You know, a number of you typed in that you got 0 or 1 referral from CPAs and attorneys last month. If you want to get 5, 10, 15 referrals on a regular basis from CPAs and attorneys, you got to do something different than what you're doing right now. And the good news is we make it easy for you. Now, there's 2 big reasons why you wouldn't do this. Number 1 is procrastination. It'll sound like a good idea. You'll have taken good notes, but you'll put it off. You'll think about it, and then something else will get in the way. You'll attend another webinar. You'll read a different book. You'll go to a conference. A client will call with a crisis, and you'll forget all about it. The other reason why you wouldn't do this is the money. So I'm going to do my best to overcome both of those reasons. So we're going to do an amazing offer for the folks who are on this right now. You've got 24 hours to take advantage of this amazing sale, where we will build your list for you. We'll market to them. We have a multi-step, multimedia campaign that goes out to the CPAs and attorneys and has a very high percentage of getting them to say yes. We'll write the interview questions for you. We'll coach you in how to do your interview. We'll bring out, your inner Oprah Don't worry. No one's going to jump on a couch, and you don't have to make anybody cry. We'll train you on how to do the interview. We will transcribe every interview and edit it for you. We will do the graphic design of your book. We'll do the interior layout. We'll publish it under our publishing umbrella. So again, you're published by a real publishing company. We'll plan the book launch party for you. We'll do the invitations. We'll do everything. And then we'll do the Amazon book launch to push you up to the top of Amazon. So you've got the credibility of being an Amazon bestseller. And then we'll help you facilitate your monthly networking group with these CPAs and attorneys for as long as you want. Again, all of that is a lot of work, and that's why we normally charge $2,000 a month. But for 24 hours, for only the folks who are watching this because of Don, we're going to cut that price. But is it worth it for $2,000? Yeah, I'm biased, but I think so. We're going to cut it in half. So it's literally only $1,000 a month to have us do all of those for you. Where you can go to sign up for that is marketdominationllc.com/financial advisor book. You'll know you're in the right place because the page looks like this. Now, I'm going to answer a couple of quick common questions we get, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. The first, because of the special pricing we're offering to Don, we're only making 8 of those slots available. We can't take any more at that price. I'm willing to break even for Don, but I'm not willing to lose money for him. So it's got to be 8 slots, first come, first serve. Again, I mentioned earlier, people always ask about compliance. The reason why it gets approved is because it's static content. It doesn't change. So they will approve the interview transcripts and they'll approve the book. And it's not like someone's writing a social media post about about a stock. So it's static content. It gets approved once and it's approved forever. Again, if there's any type of things in the book where someone talks about something that wouldn't be compliance approved, we'll remove it before it ever gets to compliance. How many months does the program require before it begins to run on its own? Okay, so from start to finish, it generally takes about 6 months. Because obviously you've got to do all the interview. We've got to select the CPAs and attorneys with you. We've got to do all the marketing, and then you've got to do all the interviews. And we find our advisors are doing about 1 interview a week. 10 interviews is about what you need to make a book. So that takes time. And then it takes us a couple months to turn it into a best-selling book. So after 6 months, you'll have your book launch party. The book will be published. It'll be out. It'll be ranked on Amazon. And then you can decide if you want to cancel or if you want to, and you want to do like the monthly networking group on your own, or if you want us to facilitate it for you. How does tax season impact the ramping up of this program? It's May. So tax season wouldn't affect you at all. It's also a reason why you should do it. We actually do a version of this for the accountants who want to interview financial advisors. And we launched that last year in March. And everybody told us we were crazy. They're too busy. They don't have time for this. And it ended up working really well because the accountants were setting up. We were doing all the legwork for the program. And then they were doing interviews in like May, June, and July. So it ended up working out really well. And those accountants were then getting referrals from all the financial advisors in the book. So tax season shouldn't be an issue. The other thing would be if you were going after accountants during, April, they might say I don't have time. I would go after the attorneys in April, the other professionals in April, and just do the accountants later on in the process. Great questions. Another question we get is, why is there a 24-hour deadline? It's because we, on the sale, because we like to take advantage. We like to reward people who can make quick decisions. We're not asking for a ton of money here. We want to reward the people who can say, yes, this is for me. I want to get started on this right away. Hang on, another question. What is total commitment? So again, it's 6 months. So $1,000 a month for 6 months is $6,000 bucks. So $6,000 all in. You've got a book done for you. You've got a book launch party planned for you. You've got an Amazon book launch done for you. And then you've got relationships with those CPAs and attorneys that you otherwise might not have gotten in front of. And if you know some of them already and put them in the book, then they are a whole lot more likely to love you even more and send you more referrals, because they're not sending you referrals, they're handing out the book, and those people are calling you directly. Okay. It's also area exclusive. So I can't have 10 advisors in the same city doing this because, again, it's not going to work. They'll be competing against each other. So you will be the only advisor in your area who is doing this. When you enroll in the program, the first thing we're going to see, obviously, when you punch in your credit card is what city you're in. So we may have to have a conversation where we call you right away and say, I'm sorry, we already have someone there. We're going to have to refund your money and cancel your agreement with us because we can't do it. Now, granted, if you were in like Manhattan, you could probably have 5 or 10 different advisors because there's literally thousands and thousands of accountants and lawyers. But most of us aren't in Manhattan. How many books do you recommend we produce? Or is the $1,000 a month to cover the cost of production? The $1,000 a month covers all of our work to end up with a finished product of the book launch party, and the Amazon launch. After you buy books at our cost. We don't make any money printing books. You can sell them for whatever you want if you want to sell them, but we don't charge any extra. So you are responsible. You would buy copies of books. You have lifetime rights to buy forever, even if you're not paying us after it's over, to buy as many copies as you want at cost. So if you want to buy one book, if you need 50, if you need 500, you pay exactly what we pay. The cost for books is like $3, $4. It's not much money. The only reason it would cost more is if you wanted to print hardcover. This one's hardcover, and then you just pay the additional printing cost to print hardcover. Hang on, more questions. Do you do coaching for title and content? Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to work with our account reps here who are going to hold your hand every step of the way. They're going to help you determine what topic you should write about, what the title will be, what the images should look like. You're going to work with our designers. You're going to work with our copywriters. We're literally going to do everything for you other than the interviews itself. You have to physically go interview the CPA and the attorney the way we teach you, because you want the relationship with them. You want them to love you, not us. They don't even need to know we exist. So it is area exclusive. If you live in a really small town, this won't work for you. We've tried and it just doesn't work. So if you're in like a really small town where there's thousands or tens of thousands of people, don't bother. We tried, it just didn't work the same way. And we ended up refunding a couple advisors money, one who lived in a really tiny town in Colorado, and then a couple others in these really tiny places. If you're a one stoplight town, for lack of a better term, or there's one high school, it's probably it might not be a good idea. You can always ask me, but it's not necessarily going to work. So that is how to get the referrals you deserve from CPAs and attorneys. You can go to marketdominationllc.com/financial advisor book to sign up and see all of the details. Again, we've only got 8 slots available at this price, and the price is lasting for 24 hours because we'll fill up in 24 hours. We'll have 8 people take it, and then it goes back to our normal $2,000 a month. So I will now open it up for more Q&A. And Don, if you want to chime in, if you've got any feedback or thoughts you want to add, you can certainly unmute yourself.
Yeah, I have unmuted myself. Thanks, Seth. It was a great presentation. We talk about all the different things. One of the things I wanted to amen you on was the small town stuff. You can't create clients. You can't create referral sources for people. The people that live around, and in a small town, everybody already knows everybody, literally. So you're not going to create any of these, you can't create that allure of the mist or the mystique of I'm this great advisor and I write books and I'm different than everybody else. When I've known you since you were 4 years old.
Right.
And my sister used to beat you up on the baseball field kind of thing. That's a little tough to get past.
True.
Having said that, in the big cities, guys, we've talked about this many, many times. Getting content out there, getting your name out there, making it not about you, giving other people a reason to shine, letting them stand on your shoulders. Guess what? Even though they're standing on your shoulders, you're still in the room. And by the way, people see you and notify you. the writer of the book is more important than the interviewee, even though they'll be focused on themselves. They will definitely be enthused about the fact that you wrote the book. I wrote the book on how to transition in life. I wrote the book on how to make smart investment decisions. I wrote the book on how to avoid the traps of tax traps of retirement, whatever.
I wrote the book on divorce, right?
Yeah, ouch. But yeah, I mean, it's, and I think the fact that when Seth and I were talking about this, and he said he was going to cut it in half. I was going to beat him up for 25%, and he went half. I said,
"Oh, see, now you tell me. Come on, man.
Sorry, dude.
You just got rid of our profit margin. All
yeah,
right,
there you go. There you go.
I would have dropped it to 1750. What the hell?
Yeah, but
we should have talked about that. I guess I was too generous. My wife will never
just shut up and let you talk, dude. That's all I had to do. But Seth is I've known Seth for quite a while. Seth is a good guy. Seth works very, very hard. Seth is very, very sharp. The Dan Kennedy is truly he's one of the marketing gods and not just in small businesses and big businesses. Dan Kennedy consults to some of the biggest companies in the world. His understanding of the psyche and the the way people process, particularly around wording and everything this book could be about. Dan Kennedy is I think the number one master most people would point to. There's some great marketers out there, but we all tend to learn from some of the same people, and Dan's that guy. Seth's been studying at his knee for quite some time.
I've been a client of Dan's for 15 years.
Yeah. So like I said, since Jesus Christ was in short pants, that's where it all began. So strongly urge you guys, if this is something that are you willing to do the interviews?
You got to do that. That's the one thing you've got to do. You've got to go meet with the CPA, turn on a recorder or an attorney, turn on a recorder and ask the questions we write for you.
Yeah, and by the way, if you've been in our program, we've been telling you to interview the people and talk to them for a long time. Everybody you talk to. So you should be an experienced interviewer by now, and you should start understanding that when you let people talk about themselves, they all of a sudden think you're a brilliant conversationalist and you're very, very smart. That's what they get from it, and they like you more. And when you ask people questions, particularly when you take notes and record it, we've always talked about that. Huge benefit to you. You're the one all the value of that accrues to. So there's no part of this that I see any marketing downside on. No one is offended by being asked to be interviewed for a book ever. No one is ever going. There's no if you rewrite, if you edit for clarity or for printability and then distribute what they said, they're not going to say anything like that. Like as you said, there's no compliance issue because mostly it's not your words. It's probably not about what you do anyway. It's about what they do.
We're going to write chapters in the book about you and how fabulous you are and your story. And we're going to write chapters about your services because ultimately the goal is to get all of the people who read the book to want to call you. So we will write those about you, but I mean, it's not like we're putting stock tips in there.
Right. Yeah. And again, your compliance officer will review it once, static information, static content. Therefore, you don't have to get it done over and over. And these books are good for years. That you get this ball rolling, and you can ride this pony for 2 or 3 years, and then you're probably going to want to do another one.
Right. We have a lot of advisors who come back to us after the first book. They see how well it works and say, there's CPAs and attorneys who I want to put in book 2. I have a different topic idea for book 2. Right. And we have done multiple books for the same client because of that. I mean, I've published, technically I'm now up to 8 because I wrote a novel. So I've published 7 business books, and like 5 of them were interview. Once I figured out the interview book process, right. I haven't written a book since. They've all been interview books. I wrote the first couple word for word from scratch. Is a lot harder. This one takes like no work for you because all you got to do is the interviews. Right.
Exactly. Anyway, I think that's probably all there is. If anyone else had any questions, I'm sure they've chimed in by now. My guys will usually raise their hand if they need to. At this point, I think we probably can say, guys, you've got the URL, you've got Seth's information there to get a hold of him. He is as I said, he is a reputable, high-end guy. Seth is sharp, and I would, if you can do and again, simply, if you can do an interview.
You have to have a conversation with
That-
people. If you hate people, don't do this.
Yeah, if you can actually talk to a person, this can work fine for you.
And you have to be willing to show up. We literally had one advisor who we over delivered. We got like 14 interviews for her. And a month later, we're like, we still don't have any recordings from you. What's going on? And she didn't answer our emails. She didn't answer my calls. Then we literally reached out to the 14 people and we're like, did you do your interview yet? You know, we're the company that arranged that. And they said, oh no, she never called me. She never contacted me, but I'd love to. I said, yes, but I never heard from her. She never reached out to them to schedule the thing. She never did a damn interview. So if you don't do the interviews, it won't work.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, guys, that's I guess that about it.
That's
Seth, that wrap it for us.
Yeah,
I appreciate you all being on. I look forward to talking to you more. Whenever I can find, I don't bring you guys many things. This is that's outside of what we're doing because it generally speaking, I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of stuff. I happen to think that this idea has tremendous power. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done here, and a lot of value to it. And like I said, if it fits your marketing, your style, if you want to work with CPAs and attorneys, if you want them finally to be showing other people your face, your picture, your book, and guiding people to you, this is how you do it. So, Seth, thanks a million for being on. Thanks for sharing this with the guys, and I'll look forward to hearing how this goes out.
Okay. Thanks everybody for attending. Thanks, Don, for having me. And my company looks forward to working with all of you. Well, the first 8 anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Bye now.